So basically what we're doing is we're looking at what is British. And so for many people, they feel like their identity is when they come over to England or any parts of the UK, is that they've got this ethnicity which they were brought up with. And then when they come over here, it's this identity sort of difference. And
Yeah.
what I'm doing is I'm asking people about like, do you feel British, and like, do you feel Persian, or would you class yourself as British? And sort of how would you ask? Sort of,
I would say I kind of classify myself as both because,
Yeah.
I mean, I live here for a couple of years now, and at the end of the day, you always feel that you're attached to your country and like
Yeah.
your culture and everything, because obviously my parents are like from Persia as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm spending all my time with like my friends who are British, so
Yeah.
it's kind of, you can like basically put yourself in the group of you are British or you are
Yeah.
Persian.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like I'm in both of them, and I think that's what makes it really cool and interesting as well, because you kind of have like two things at the same time, you know.
Yeah.
And I got so many friends who are like British, so many friends who are
Yeah.
Persian, and like so many of them are like mixed as well, like
Yeah,
half
yeah.
and half. So it's really cool when you are like you're from a different background. You become really easy to communicate with other people, like Spanish people, Italian, or whoever, because they kind of get in the same feeling that they're not British, but since they are here, so
Yeah.
you have some kind of like
Common ground.
common grounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really easy to like communicate with them and like
Yeah.
become friends with them. I have so many friends. I have like Japanese friends, I got Italian friends, Portuguese, Mexican, and I have a few Thai friends. Like, it's so easy. Like,
Yeah. So it's almost that your international background is almost a common ground. Like
Yeah.
you all are friends from that. Is that
Yeah,
is that-
exactly. Yeah, I mean, whatever happens, like you always got like a story to tell as well. Like,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
If you are born somewhere, then that is what defines you. Do you think?
I think so.
Would you still class yourself as Italian? Then? How
I
do you
still
think?
classify myself as Italian.
Yeah. Say, for example, you started to, if you did your degree in whatever you want to do, and you started working in London or wherever, and then in 10 or 20 years' time you still stayed here, how would you class yourself then? Would you say you're still Italian because you were born in Italy and that's where you come from? Or would you then, is there some sort of like transitional phase where after a certain period of time that you suddenly feel like you're now British? Or how do you feel?
That is really interesting. I never thought about that because I'm sure that I'm going to spend the rest of my life speaking in English and thinking in English.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And in an English nation.
Yeah.
That would be
That's what you want to do.
UK, or America.
Yeah.
The fact is that I spent 20 years of my life in Italy.
Mm.
And I'm sure that I will have doubts of if I should define myself like Italian or Italo-English.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the fact that I moved here is going to change my life forever.
Yeah.
That is without any doubt. I think it's up to me to decide how should I define myself. But I will be honest with you, I don't like definition. I don't like categorize people.
No, put them into pigeonholes. Yeah.
That's the thing. That is why a lot of people they told me, you're the classic Italian.
Yeah.
And I get
It's stereotypes, isn't it?
Yeah. I get as an offense because I know that if you compare me with other Italian people, we are not the same.
Yeah.
If one day someone like you is gonna ask me, do you feel more Italian? Do you feel more English?
Yeah.
I will say that I spent half and half of my life
in both countries. Yeah.
In both countries.
Yeah.
And still at that point, I should not define myself. I should just accept
Be
the
who you
idea
are. Yeah.
that I grew up with two different backgrounds, two
Yeah.
different kind of lives, style of life,
Yeah.
and everything. The more you're flexible, the more you're open, but at the same time, you will see that you develop a need to find who you are, what is that makes you.
Yeah. how they feel within themselves. Do they feel British, or do they feel that their roots are still very much in their culture that they were brought up in and they were raised in? So how do you sort of feel about this?
I think that's dependable on how long does a person actually was in a particular country like Great Britain. I've been here like 1.5 years, so I still feel strong connection with my own country. But the more I am here, the more I feel like affiliated with your with this country, with this culture, and so on, because I'm meeting people. Obviously, I'm speaking in your language, at least trying learning it. So actually, the whole environment that is surrounding me has an impact and influence on how do I feel here. So the longer I am here, the more I feel British. But
people would identify themselves, would they call them British because they were born here, or because their parents are from a different country? Would they? How would you sort of?
Well, I think it all depends on the person, because as I was saying, I know plenty of people that, like, for example, actually, my dad was born in Scotland and my mum was born in Lewisham in London, but they, like, if you saw them, like, you like British. I think to be British is just like a title. It doesn't have any kind of bearing.
Okay.
Because like they were born here, but I'd say like they're Nigerian.
Yeah.
But they would say they're Nigerian, but it doesn't deduct from the fact that they're British.
No.
So I don't know. It all kind of depends on the people. When you come to like a Western society, civilization, it's easy to lose your own
identity,
your own culture,
background, of course.
Exactly, your heritage.
Yeah.
So even though like it's not cool for people to be like, I'm from so and so, they've never really been, like they want to claim it. It's kind of good because they want to learn about their heritage. Yeah, I'm British, but I also want to still keep like my other nationality. I don't want it to be as if
diluted.
It doesn't have to be like one side and the other.
Yeah.
I still want it to be as strong. So I don't think it causes segregation. It's just like people just generally don't want to kind of lose their
heritage. Yeah,
because it's interesting.
It's part of who they are. It's what makes them.
Yeah,
who
it's
they
what
are.
makes people diverse.
Yeah.
If everyone just came to like say England or America or one of them and just like
blended in.
Yeah, just blended in. It would just eventually people wouldn't really understand why, say, like olive skinned people from Italy or like the Mediterranean are olive, or why I'm black, or why people are Chinese. Like the heritage would just be lost because everyone's just kind of one.
Yeah. So you think it's a topic, and whether do you feel British or do you feel still Zimbabwean? Is this kind of two sides, two sort of identities, really? How do you feel about this?
I feel it's hard for a person to kind of like adapt to a certain culture and then just change it around. So I still feel Zimbabwean even if I've been here long.
Yeah.
Because of my parents and because of the culture that I was brought up. Yeah. Pretty much.
Even though you've been living here and you plan to live here for the rest of your life, you still would regard yourself as Zimbabwean forever.
I don't think it's about the amount of time you spend here. I think it's about what one wants actually. Because maybe some people don't like their culture or don't value it as much. But I'm sure if you're proud of being who you are, I'm sure you wouldn't mind being that person for the rest of your life. Like people do portray that. I always see proud to be British. I never see proud to be something else, I guess. Yeah.
Do you think it adds to the sort of British culture that we've got so many different backgrounds, like we've got Chris who's Polish and different sort of, it adds to the flavour of what makes up Britain, do you think? That's sort of the whole part of it. There isn't this single mould of that fits this British stereotype. There isn't a single sort of figure that fits into it anymore. That because we've got so many people with different backgrounds, it complements the whole sort of country really, and that makes it interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So being British, maybe culture, but not everyone, not even the British people, like take the culture seriously. They mix the culture now.
Yeah.
You get people celebrating the Chinese New Year even if they're not British. Like, hey, you guys celebrate the Chinese New Year, but no one is Chinese.
Yeah.
So
it's accepting different cultures into it, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's the more familiar people get to the different types of cultures that we have, the better there will be.
Yeah, it is better now because you get like people love curry here, don't they?
Yeah.
It's quite popular. See, like Indian curries, you got Chinese.
Yeah.